What is up, restaurant friends? We're here to talk and give you a little preview of the DRA Restaurant Marketing Summit powered by Branded. I've got a great group here. We've assembled the Avengers together. I've got Rev, CJ, and Hamed. Gentlemen, give us just a quick overview of who you are and what is your restaurant marketing superpower. Rev, what do you got?
Man, you call us the Avengers. I'm honored. Thank you. But I would also like to add in one other thing. My favorite Avenger of all time is Captain America. So he's the greatest. Hey, everybody. My name is Rev Ciancio. I own a hamburger shop here in New York City called Handcraft Burgers and Brew. I'm a co-founder and a chief marketing officer there. So I make sure all of the little bits and bobs flicker all day long with the buttons and whatnot. And during the day, I'm a hospitality marketing consultant, and I help restaurant brands with their marketing. That's what I do. What's my restaurant superpower? Was certainly marketing oriented, and it's how to get the most amount of done with the most amount of return for the least amount of work.
Hey, so very nice to meet you all. I'm very excited to be here. I am the marketing guy at Doghouse, and as most of you know, we also have a company called The Absolute Brands, which features many of our virtual restaurant concepts. And so we have a lot of experience in third party, first party, and then the traditional inside the four walls. I'm the marketing guy here, but I can't not include my partner in crime, which is Justin Bartek, and many of you guys out there know him. So bringing him to our team has been awesome. He's been with us for over a year, and we can already see the impact right away. When it comes to my superpower, I'm going to say mine, meaning Doghouse, is listening. I think we are really, really good at listening to our customers, our franchisees, and almost more importantly, I think we'd all agree, our employees. So that's us.
Excellent. Hamed, tell us about you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Hamed. I'm the founder of Milagro. I've been in the restaurant tech space for past 13, 14 years now. And obviously a very challenging space, but we see a ton of potential. I think 2024 is going to be a major shift in restaurant industry. And I think we're going to see some amazingly successful restaurants come out of it. Our superpower is customer retention. How to master the art of customer retention. So you bring customers back in. You don't have to pay that expensive fee to acquire new customers. Master the art of customer retention to increase your top line revenue by 15% or 150,000 a year per building, while increasing your staff's take-home pay by another 15% and reducing your labor by about 4%, all by just increasing top line revenue and mastering the art of customer retention. So that's what we do, and that's what we've fine-tuned and mastered the strategy of customer retention for restaurants.
Excellent. Great to have you on. Joe, we're going to have a quick introduction.
Hey, Joe.
Who are you, Joe? What's your restaurant marketing superpower?
Oh, geez. Joe Reinstein, Executive Director of the Digital Restaurant Association. So excited to be with this group today. Restaurant marketing superpower has to be passion. There is, there are literally thousands of companies, restaurants, millions of customers, lots of technology, lots of tactics and solutions. It's absolutely mind-boggling, the complexity. But if you are passionate about connecting with customers and introducing them to delicious food and experiences, that's where you're going to find the motivation and the dedication required to succeed, because it requires a lot of passion. We're all passionate entrepreneurs and passionate about our businesses. But at the end of the day, we're passionate about delivering incredible food experiences to customers and creating relationships. And that takes a lot of passion. This is a hard business. I have to bring a lot of passion to what I do with the Digital Restaurant Association. There's a lot of things together as an industry we need to fight for to protect and promote our business, including the business we do digitally. And that includes a whole bunch of marketing and a whole bunch of other partners that we work with. And it needs to be fair, and it needs to be profitable. It needs to be sustainable. So that's what keeps me going.
Excellent. Joe, great to have you on here. My name's Court from Go Explore Local. My superpower is I was a high school teacher and a football coach. So teaching is in my blood. I love helping restaurant owners, get butts in seats. We have a platform where restaurants can generate recurring revenue and drive repeat visits with a subscription program where customers pay monthly to access exclusive offers. So, and coaching's my superpower. So I wanted to kick this off, and Rev, we're going to talk about the Restaurant Marketing Summit coming up here in a second, but wanted to cover trends that you see happening in 2024. Where do you see things going? I'll tell you one that I see is influencers. I really think there is a big opportunity for restaurants to partner with local influencers, foodies, to help spread the word about their restaurant. I mean, they've got an audience of 10,000, 20,000 people already that are foodies. And I really see, and that's something we're doing, is working with collaboration with influencers, having them come in and then they'll tell their friends, and really they become kind of your free salespeople. So that's kind of one thing I see. Who'd like to start? What's one trend you see in 2024?
CJ, what do you got for us? What's your trend?
Yeah, I got a comment. Before I talk about trends, I got a comment. I think, it's a term that we're using today. It's a de jour term called influencers, right? But I don't think that strategy is anything new. I think we've always wanted to provide an excellent service to someone that we know that is notable in our community, so they can tell two friends, so on and so on and so on. We've known that campaign for years, right? So it's never, ever been away from what we do at our core. It's just that the name is different now, and the tools might be a little bit different when you look towards the technology. So I think that's something that we've always kind of kept super close to us. And that's why I think for the trend, it's really the personalization. The personalization of, like I said, our superpower is listening. We're not only listening to what people are saying to us when they're inside our four walls, but we're listening through all the different platforms that we use to engage our customers. So we're really going to focus on the personalization. No one wants the one offer for everybody. They want the offer that's specifically for them. We all know how good you feel when you walk into a restaurant and they say, hey, CJ, glad to have you back. We have your table for you. Or, hey, going to start off with what you normally do. When the restaurant knows you, you feel more connected. So we're using technology today to create that personalization, to understand our customers, and really give them what they prefer. So that's what we're focusing on, and that's the trend that I see that's out there as well, because everything's about data, right? We all have multiple friends that are helping us with different tools to understand the data. And at the end of the day, if that dashboard gives us what we need to understand our customer, that's what's going to be the winner. So it's got to be personalization from the Doghouse Absolute brand side.
Guys, I'm going to jump in because I feel like he stole my entire script. Rev, did you share it with them, or what did you do? I'm disappointed. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, what the freak? So yeah, next time you're not going first. I am.
Well, listen, if we all agree, because I was thinking something similar, then that is the trend, right? It's almost a validation.
There you go. But
tell us more.
Yeah. I think absolutely right. I think personalization is going to make a huge impact. So I'm again looking over my notes as you guys were discussing this, and yeah, personalization from mid to larger brands is going to become a huge thing in 2024. And I think Doghouse, you're way in front of the curve on that. And if I was looking from outside in, I would categorize you guys at the top of the winners. Because in order to win in 2024 and beyond, you have to personalize the experience. If you don't and you treat everyone the same, you're just not going to stand a chance. You're going to burn through your marketing cash, and you're going to just tick off customers, and you're going to push them to go somewhere else. Let me give you a perfect example. There's one of my favorite restaurants that is near my home. I go there, their average spend is $67. I know that because I've looked at all the, we're we're talking to these guys. So $67 average spend. I can tell you that my average spend every time I go in is minimum 130, 40 bucks, twice the average spend easily, right? However, I went there 3 times in a row, once for graduation, once for birthday, and once just wanted to get the family together. Every single time they made me wait in line for 45 minutes. So the brand is, when I talk to the owner, it's like, no, that's not what we want. That's not what we do. But that's what the restaurant is doing. So there's a disconnect. The restaurant is telling me, hey, Hamed, I don't care you spend it twice as much or if you spend half as much. I don't care about that. You're treated like everybody else. By the way, I don't care that you're spending twice as much and we make twice as much money on you versus the next guy. By the way, I don't care about the fact that you're tipping twice as much and you're helping us pay the labor costs, the salaries of the employees. We don't care about that. We want you to go somewhere else where you're treated like a VIP, where somebody else treats you better. And guess what happens to this brand? They're going to lose the profitable customer who they make twice as much money, that customers paying the salary through the tips, and they're driving those customers to their competitors. And guess where they're going to end up? They're going to end up with all the average customer, average tip, thin margins, high food costs, high labor challenges. They're going to deal with everything that restaurants have been complaining for decades, that, hey, we have these problems. Why? Because of lack of that personalization. And there was another restaurant that actually did that. Every time we walked in, we got seated right away to our favorite table, and a flight of queso, guac, and salsa would show up on the table for free, right? But every time somebody said, where should we go? We go there. And they took the manager, moved the manager to a different location. We stopped going for months. And so it's that personalization that makes a huge impact. And there is going to be a ton of money flowing to those customers to those restaurants who take that personalization to the next level and know that, hey, you have a peanut allergy, know that you're a VIP customer, and etc. So I think that's going to be a huge, huge trend. And by the way, it's not something that's new to the world. A lot of other industries do that. Restaurants just traditionally have never done that, and they've never adopted that technology or the personalization of that. I guess that is a trend. Everybody's agreeing, so that's good. I think I'm on the right page.
Well, listen, I would say the same thing, but I'm actually going to be hyper specific in that because I want to speak to all restaurants, and personalization sounds difficult. It's not, but it sounds difficult. I think a trend is going to be free Wi-Fi, because the only way to personalize is to get somebody's data. And if you're in a bar where there's no reservation system, or I don't have to online order, where everybody's an unknown, what's the easiest way to get somebody's email address? Gated Wi-Fi. If Hamed takes us all out to his favorite restaurant and he makes the reservation, how do the rest of us get into the CRM? Free Wi-Fi. I think free Wi-Fi is going to be a huge trend that leads towards CRM growth and personalization.
I think if you're opening a new restaurant, you should be sure you're in an area that has crappy cell service.
and under about 20 floors of residents above you,
right,
so that you're
exactly.
making sure
I love that idea.
5G.
Rev, you're the genius at making everything actionable. I love it. I just want to build on what everyone else is saying, because you can't deliver personalized messages if you don't have your data house together. So my 2024 trend is building on everything that everyone's talking about and just talk about technology integration. So, we spent the last 3 years with an explosion of technology solutions that are really, many of which are extremely helpful in doing whatever they're supposed to be doing: driving profitability, increasing revenue, managing staffing, inventory, food costs, you name it. There's a technology for it. And there's good ones and great ones and not so good. And one of the things that all of these systems need to do is to integrate with each other, so that restaurants can glean the insights and can gather the information necessary to identify a new customer from a repeat customer, so they can personalize that message. And I would go so far as to say that, look, when 30 to 40% of your revenue is off premise or takeout and delivery, and it's going through a handful of huge delivery apps and online ordering platforms, and they are actively cutting restaurants off from their customers and off from the data required to run their businesses and integrate it with a holistic sense of their customers. That's one of the things I'm passionate and fighting about, but that's why I think tech integration is one of the big trends for 2024. You're going to hear all technology companies talking about how well integrated their solutions are, and restaurants are going to need to look for solutions that allow them to harness the power of all their data.
I think that's absolutely right. You know, one of the things that's really, I think, a part of what you're saying is we can't forget that the way that the restaurant operates today is very different from the past and certainly from pre-COVID, right? Like our business, the majority of it is delivery, believe it or not, right? And so we're getting now past the 50-50 mark and getting more back into people coming into the stores. But what we really want to lean into when you think about technology is let's dust off that app. Let's get something that's first party. Let's get something that's fun and engaging to the user. Let's also let them know when we're using that technology that we're personalizing stuff for them. So technology has a lot to do with that. That is the backbone, not only, you know, stuff that we use in the back of house, but it must be customer facing, customer friendly, and convenient for customers when they go to my restaurant, Rev's restaurant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? If I've already onboarded once, take my information and apply it across the board. It's all about convenience, and technology is the way to get there. But we have to still embrace it as an organization or as a restaurant, franchisor, franchisee, et cetera.
I'm still waiting to have skip the line status at 7-Eleven, so they should have the money to figure that out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, one thing, piggybacking, what do you see with user-generated content? You know, getting your real customers to post pictures and videos and helping you spread the word. And I mean, if you look at the big brands looking on TikTok, Rev, I know you're a big TikTok advocate. It's like the worse quality it is, the better, right? The more raw and real and silly it is, the better. And I see big brands leaning into that. What do you guys think about user-generated content and really having your customers help you spread the word?
You know, I do think that's important. I think it's a big trend, and I've yet to see a piece of technology that can like make that really kind of like push button easy for a restaurant until yesterday. I saw something called Guru Club, and it essentially turns every single guest into an influencer. So it works like this. Essentially, I take a picture of anything about the restaurant and I tag them in my stories on Instagram, and within 5 seconds I get a discount coupon, right? And so like I could be in the restaurant, I could be waiting for my food to arrive, and the server could be like, yo, just a tip, your cocktail's here, post to Instagram, tag us, you get $5 off this meal right now. Everybody at the table does it. Now everybody has shared content. Now I have everybody's contact data. Now they've told all their friends. Like, you hit virality without the need of TikTok, without the need of fancy budgets. Like, that's pretty impressive to me. So I'm a fan of UGC, and now that like I think there's more of this coming, where essentially we can turn every guest into a content creator. Like, that's powerful.
I like UGC. I've always liked UGC, and like when I kicked it off and talked about the influencers, we've been doing it for years. You know, I like it when, and I'm not saying, Rev, that this is not an authentic expression, but I just love the authentic expression of someone having a excellent time inside your four walls or at home. And so I think to get that UGC content to work for you, you need to educate the poster, if you will, with like, how will we be able to know that you posted for us? Because we can amplify it across our network as well. But also, you got to brand your materials so that when you do delivery and they're putting it in their home environment, that your brand is present. So there's a responsibility for the restaurant to make sure that they've got stuff that looks good, that makes their food look good, right? We've seen it through some of the other things that we've seen through VDC and stuff. They do amazing packaging, and that's what makes them so desirable when it comes to like posting it for UGC. But I think when you look at the bigs, like a Taco Bell or something, those are big agencies and they're doing it specifically to a demographic, right? So UGC has to be relevant to your target audience. the grunge, that's for those younger individuals that are talking about real life. They want to show it as it is. They don't want to make it beautiful. The next generation that's older than they are, they want everything to be perfect, and therefore it has to be a certain way and certain filters. So as long as you know your audience, and as long as you are able to reach them in a way that motivates them to post, I mean, that's gold. That's what you want every day. I think that's just the extension today from someone saying, oh, hey, you're new in town, check out this restaurant. It's just done through the digital space, through the expression, if you will, right? The tone of that individual within their generation. So it's very important. We're leaning into it. We're encouraging our customers, as much as we can to engage with us socially, but then also for them to push out in their environments with the proper hashtags, etc. Mentions. Diana's going to kill me for using all the wrong terms. Rev, please correct me.
Hey, those are great trends to look forward to. Now, hey, I'm super excited because, like I said, we've got 5 presenters here at the upcoming DRA Restaurant Marketing Summit powered by Branded. Rev, tell us what people will get out of the event.
Everything that you could possibly need to know in terms of best practices, tips, and tricks for restaurant marketing right now and probably for the rest of the time. But, we put this event on a couple of times. Court, you've spoke multiple times. CJ, this is your first one. Hamed, I think this is your first one. Joe's been involved in the past, but I've done all of them. But the whole idea is like, look, I go to lots of conferences. A couple of you guys, I see it at all of them as well. And I think, if I'm going to leave my house for a couple of days and get away from my family and spend thousands of dollars, like the parties are fun, the networking is fun, but I want to learn something. I can read a headline on NRN any day. I don't need to fly to Vegas to read a headline. I want a tip. I want a tactic. And what I've learned from attending all these conferences is not that many tactics get shared on stage. Strategies get shared on stage, which is great. But here's the thing. Me and CJ, we're at these things. Joe and Hamed, they go, right? We're there. We're not the person that's doing the marketing. There's a marketing manager, there's a marketing director and a marketing coordinator. And there's the person that has to create the TikToks. Where does that person go to learn how to run loyalty? Where do they go to learn how to figure out a subscription? Where do they go to understand an automation cadence? There is no resource for restaurant marketers. There isn't. There's no book, there's no playbook, there's no website, there's no comments, there's nothing. The people that actually do the work are kind of all day long going, I don't know. So we created this thing called the Restaurant Marketing Summit. The DRA came along and said, we love this. We got to help you. And the whole idea is that it's for 2 days. It's live for 24 hours. We usually have 20 to 30 presenters who are going deep on a tactic or a topic. Hamed talked about personalization and some automation funnels. Me and CJ are doing an interview where you can ask us anything. Joe's interviewing the CMO of a really large brand. Court, you're going to talk about subscriptions. But the whole idea is it's essentially 2 days of every restaurant marketing playbook you could ever hope to. And look, they're kind of evergreenish. If we do one in January of 2024 and you find this video in August of 2028 and you find the links, it's not like that information is gone bad. It's probably developed, but I guarantee there's still no source. And here's the best part, it's free. That's the other thing is, again, we go to all these conferences and I see all these people there and I know the person that needs the information is not there and the brand's not spending money to educate them because there's no educational source. So we said, I'm going to solve that problem for everybody. Here's a free online source for restaurant marketers to learn best in practice tips, tricks, and tactics. Wow, that was really long.
That was excellent. So what's your presentation? I'd love to hear from everybody because we have a group of presenters here. Rev, what's yours about?
Sure. So I'm the host of the event, so I'm usually going to do a couple, but my signature move, and I pulled CJ in to do it with me on this one, is called Your Restaurant Marketing Questions Answered. It is one of the only presentations that happens live. Most of them are pre-recorded. And what happens is we're in the hot seat. So it'll be me and CJ and 2 other incredible restaurant leaders that literally we're going to open up a Zoom and everybody who's logged in can ask any restaurant marketing question they want. You can ask about social media. You can ask about YouTube. You can ask about email, CRM, loyalty, text messaging. It doesn't matter. And in 4 years of doing this, we've never been stumped. And I'm not saying we're smarter than everybody, but we're really good about making sure that people who are on it know what they're talking about. So that's what CJ and I are talking. It's essentially it's the no panel. It's you show up and we answer your questions.
You know, that's really born from the day I met Rev. We were at a conference years ago, and he was in the lobby, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "It's no bars are open. There's no place to go, you know, and I'm going to bed." He's like, "No, found a bar." I'm like, "Let's go." And we went, and we sat under the loudest speaker in like a drum and bass club somewhere. I don't even know where we were on the planet. And we were screaming at each other, having so much fun, also talking about his passion for old fashions, but talking about marketing. And ever since then, when he and I are together, that's what we talk about. And he made this he made me feel this one way when we were at this next conference. And he's like, people come up to him all day long, and it's our responsibility to share what we know. And so I've adopted that. When we go to shows, it's work because we think everybody that brings forward a question, they've spent money to be there, right? They've seen our faces before in something, and they want to ask us a question. So it's our responsibility to share our experience. And I think that's why now I'm in this hot seat. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe we'll never do it again. Maybe it's the start of something that will never end.
By the way, that was the Dallas Ghost Kitchens conference, and it was an old-fashioned bar in Deep Ellum. That was the only place open ever. They had an entire menu of old fashions. I'll never forget, and it was ridiculously loud.
That was also when we realized that nobody knew what a ghost kitchen was because everyone was talking about it and nodding their heads. We were literally at the closing speaker event.
Keynote,
and, yeah. And I look at Rev and I'm like, do you know what they're talking about? And he's like, not really. I go, I'm so confused because of the interchanging of terms. And so we took it upon ourselves. No kidding. We took it upon ourselves to raise our hand, stand up, and kind of summarize the entire conference and align everyone on the same nomenclature because we all have to be on the same page if we're going to move forward together.
We did. We took over the panel from the floor. Anyway, that is what you're going to get for 2 days is your questions answered.
Ahmed, what are you talking about?
So I'm going to be talking about customer retention. I'm a big, huge believer in that. And I really strongly believe that it's going to create such a massive opportunity in the restaurant space. In fact, so large that even we have allocated a division for ourselves to utilize our technology and get into the restaurant space and start buying brands and using our technology to prove to kind of showcase what we're preaching. So I'll be focusing on how to use customer retention to increase top line revenue by 15% or 150K, and also review how that's going to impact the bottom line, the net profit margins, how it's going to increase your staff's take-home pay so you don't have to deal with a minimum labor laws of, whatever, 15, 18, 20 bucks an hour, etc. And get rid of thin margins in a restaurant space. Restaurants don't have thin margins. They just don't have enough top line revenue. Trust me, every single item on that menu is profitable. So you don't have thin margins. You just don't have enough top line revenue. Fix the source, and fixing top line revenue is going to fix so many problems. So come in, attend that session, watch the videos, and you'll see the presentation. And I have real numbers that will kind of break everything down so you can see the impact that it will have from top line all the way to your net margin, all the way to the bottom line.
I will be having my own session. Thank you very much. It is called the Digital Restaurant Association Restaurant Marketing Summit after all. So I got to get something.
There you go.
I have the honor and the privilege of speaking with Tariq Hassan, who is the Chief Marketing and CX Officer of McDonald's. And look, it's all about this incredible organization, 68 years old, the biggest in the biz, 23 billion, 40,000 restaurants. And how in the heck are they continuing to steal market share and drive it? And it's with this incredible brand love that they cultivate and the smart decisions they're making across the board. And Tarek is at the center of it. So we're going to hear about his North Star, how he motivates and inspires his marketing team, cultural pillars that he has, sort of secrets to his success, and try to crack open his marketing playbook to uncover some of the McDonald's core truths that they're tapping into. I hope to pry into questions about their digital strategy and personalization and the importance of building their first party app and ordering so that they control the customer relationship, everything that CJ was just saying. So it's going to be awesome. So I hope people will tune in for that.
I'm going to show up on that one. I'm going to show up on that one and put questions in. I'm going to seed all your questions. I have 1,000 questions,
dude.
For the CMO McDonald's.
I was thinking I'm just going to ask your questions.
That'll be interesting. Here, the McDonald's here in Kansas City, it's AI that you're talking to when you at the drive-through. I mean, it's not even a real person that you're talking to. And there's I don't know where it is, where there's no people inside the McDonald's, nobody. And so that'll be interesting to see, great topic. So,
Joe,
hey, and
didn't
then
we visit one of those restaurants?
Go ahead. I'm
Joe,
sorry.
Didn't we visit one of those restaurants at one of those McDonald's on one of Rev's food tours, or was it Zach's food tour?
We did.
There was a McDonald's nearby.
It wasn't McDonald's. It was, what was it? Umi, or what is it?
Umi Kitchen.
Yeah. Umi
Is that where all the kiosks were in front of the house?
There was the one with all the doors and whatever. Yeah. There was Umi Kitchen in Dallas.
Ah.
A little different, but similar-ish. Yeah. There's no,
Okay.
no, you don't eat there. You just get food.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking we were just in Vegas together.
And my presentation, I'm leading a roundtable discussion about subscriptions and if they are a new revenue stream that restaurants should be tapping into. If you're not familiar, well, I've been doing marketing for years, and we always kind of did the old school VIP clubs with kind of lame offers. Owners didn't like giving away free food all the time. And then we saw Panera, what Panera is doing, and they have an $11 a month sip club. You get unlimited coffee, soda, tea. They have over 1 million people paying $11 a month for coffee and soda, and they report that guest visits have gone from 4 to 10 of their subscribers a month. So we built a platform where restaurants can have their own subscription just like that. And I brought in some industry leaders talking about, is that a viable way that restaurants should be moving? So those are the panels. So super excited, Rev. Thank you so much for putting that together. Let's close this out with one baby step.
I was going to say, hold on. There's one important thing we totally forgot to mention about the summit. Every single person that registers, and again, it's free, gets a free membership to the Digital Restaurant Association additionally. So while the summit is only 48 hours long, you get access to the summit for 48 hours. DRA is 24 hours a day, 365, and they got even more material you can learn from.
What's one baby step you can do? One baby step would be to sign up for the summit, right? And learn something new. What's another baby step? I'll give one real quick. I went to a restaurant the other day and was talking to them about their TikTok. And they were like, yeah, we have a TikTok. We've never done it. Our servers post TikToks before or all the time, but we never post on ours. I was like, go do it. Go do one. Just post your first one and get it done. And they did. And it was super cool. So do your first one. It's going to be bad. Do it and get it over with and then rock and roll. That's my tip.
All right, I'll take it next. So I think table service restaurants, anybody that has a waitlist reservation, I think you gotta have to change that up completely, because that is one of the most powerful ways to increase customer frequency using your waitlist and reservation app. So just think of that this way. When was the last time you made a reservation and you told the brand that it's your birthday and they sent you something that says, hey, happy birthday? Like, even everybody out there, you make a reservation, they'll send you an email or they'll take you to a landing page that says, thanks for burning your cash with us and reservation confirmed, right? It's like, I just told you it was my birthday. You completely ignore that as if it doesn't matter. And yet it's the most important thing that matters to me, but you completely ignored that. So I think the reservation system is completely broken in a restaurant. Rev and I have been working on this thanks to his help and innovative ideas that he brought to the table. We've revamped ours completely. So I think reservation for table service restaurants is going to be a huge differentiator. And if you're a quick service restaurant, customer feedback. You have to use that customer feedback in order to drive additional frequency. That's probably for a quick service. It's the easiest way to drive additional revenue. And by the way, like I found an article in QSR magazine from 2013 that we did that for a restaurant brand here in Dallas that had 120 stores, and the redemption rate of those coupons were about 11.8%. So imagine the revenue impact that it has to get 12% of your customers to come back in for additional visit. That is an excuse for you to send an email out, say, hey, Rev, here's the coupon. Now I got your email. And then remind him and say, Rev, your coupon's going to expire in 7 days. You better redeem it. Here are the locations near you to go in and redeem that coupon. So again, how do you build that behavior from 1 visit to 2 to 3 to 4? And then once you pass that 4th visit, then they're a regular customer. They'll come in and guess what that does to you? All the things that we've been talking about, increased revenue, no thin margins, yada, yada, yada. So those are the 2 tips that I have for quick service and table service restaurants.
You already took my sign up for the summit, and we've already got offering free gated Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go with update your Google business profile. Like, every restaurant thinks they've checked that box, but you cannot go back and update it enough. You need to get your hours updated. You need to post photos. You need to identify your preferred delivery platforms. All of the information is there for customers. And you have to remember, as dominant as the delivery apps are, Google is as dominant, if not more. 60% of consumers are finding their restaurant experience through Google search or Google Maps. So your information and your profile has to be up to date. So they not only find you, but then they convert and visit your restaurant or order from you.
We've got customer feedback, which is awesome. And I think the baby step there is go into the dashboards and read the information. Free Wi-Fi, I think the baby step there is continuously work on building your database. That's super important. And update your Google profile. You need to remember that that's crowdsourced. So if someone shows up one day and decides to change your hours because they think that you've closed early or something, that's going to affect you. So you're absolutely right. You need to check that on a regular basis and make sure that it's right. I'd say that I find that one of the easiest things to do and most effective baby step is to push awareness for whatever it is that you're doing through SMS. There are many providers out there. I'd say contact Rev because he's got a list of the best that will suit you perfect if you're an individual, right? We're talking about individuals that don't get to go to the big conferences that we get to go to. So this one is great for them because they're going to get what's right for me. Let me try this on and how does it fit for me? So I'm going to push SMS because that gets a fast read and that's a fast message into someone's brain to be thinking about you. And there are many providers for every single budget and every single level of sophistication. So I still think it qualifies as a baby step.
Excellent. Excellent. Rev, what's yours?
I mean, I kind of gave away the baby step in the free Wi-Fi, but I'll give 2 baby steps that build on to what we've said. So number 1, if you are going to update your Google business profile, and you should, make sure that you go into the food ordering links and set first party as preferred. There's a little toggle in there that you can switch on that when people then end up on your Google on whatever the online ordering that you prefer, it'll put a badge that says preferred by business. It takes 30 seconds. Okay, go do that. That's 1. Number 2, for those that are personalizing and sending email and working on retention and thinking about that thing and using Wi-Fi, send a newsletter to your database every other Thursday morning if you aren't already. It covers a lot of ground. Send a bi-weekly email and you can just write, here's our signature dish, description, make a reservation, place an order. If you're not sending bi-weekly emails or any emails, just start with 1 every other week.
Love it.
Awesome.
Taking baby steps. Excellent. Well, hey, thank you everybody for this. Don't forget to sign up for the DRA Restaurant Marketing Summit powered by Branded. We'll have links below. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. I appreciate you all.
Yeah.
We will talk to you soon.